What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Second Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Aris.
I'm your other host, Elijah Venencia. Let's kick it off with some awful news. If you've been here, this is more of like a till March thing. Range Brothers. If you listened to the episode last week or the week before, we've been talking about this season coming up. It was supposed to start last week, and then maybe a game this week, and now we haven't had a game either week. The league is looking cooked. It's not looking good.
Yeah,
I'll let the commissioner or GM talk.
yeah, it's not looking good at all, man. I gave the guy who runs the league $700 in a mailbox at like 7 o'clock at night. Never heard from him. And so I was like, "Hey, did you get our money?" And he's like, "Yeah." This guy could easily just finesse us for $700 cash, but no, I guess he still thinks we're having a league 2 weeks late, no schedule, no league managers meeting. I'm not convinced, but hey, I'm just trying to get out there with my boys soon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll have updates if there's any updates to give you guys. But yeah, it's pretty disappointing so far. We're gonna be playing a summer league at this rate. So
Yeah, myself into the park. I mean, yeah, it's a winter league supposed to start like the first week of January. I don't think it starts till February. We'll see though. Just stay tuned. If you're a Ranger Brothers diehard, if you're a day one second half fan, we know you love the Ranger Brothers, so we'll be back with updates soon. But yeah, let's just get straight into today's topic. We're talking about three artists that we think are going to blow up in 2024. Blow up, I'll say with an
yeah,
asterisk, there's levels to this. We could be talking about somebody who's fairly established, taking that next step. We could talk about somebody who has no followers, blowing up from nothing, which is, obviously more rare, harder to predict, but very excited to hear your picks, talk to you about my picks a little bit. I think first we got to take a look back at our picks from last year. Last year we went with 5 picks, which, seems like a lot. So we're scaling back to 3 this year, but let's look at our 5. You picked Babytron, Ice Spice, AG Club, one member of Brockhampton, and Roy Blair. Let's go through those one by one and let's see. How do you think you did? Babytron, do you think
uh,
that's a W?
I mean, W year from Babytron. I would say. I mean, he blew up. I mean, more than he was before. He just does a great job. Like I mean, like the vinyl release this past week, like that was crazy. Who's doing that? He had
Yeah,
100 bars. I felt like I saw a lot of stuff about that on social media. TikTok, he has a little TikTok phase. Obviously, that's been huge for up
definitely.
and coming artists. So I'll give that one a W.
Your next one was Ice Spice. I mean, she was already pretty massive, but you also get Boys a Liar Part 2 featured on the Barbie soundtrack as well. She definitely had a year.
Yeah, she maintained it for sure. So
W there. Next one, AG Club. I'm
kind of
neutral on
quiet.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
quiet.
kind of quiet year. So
Any member of Brockhampton? How you feel about that pick?
I mean, I think that kind of excludes Kevin Abstract, and he was really the
Okay.
only one that I saw release anything so or notable. So I'm gonna give that one an L there.
Yeah, I mean, you got Merlin and Amir on their collab project, which was cool, but it really wasn't talked about too much. It wasn't getting a lot of love or a lot of, buzz. So, yeah, Kevin, he did his thing on his solo project. We knew Kevin was going to be the first. It felt like probably to, do something outside of Brockhampton, or most likely to, I should say. So, yeah, that one, I mean, felt pretty obvious, but I'm not having this person on my list today, but I could see somebody like a Matt Champion. We haven't got anything from him in a little bit. Like this could be a year for him
Yeah,
specifically.
I mean, all those guys super talented. Obviously, it's just I feel like getting that stuff out there. So, I mean, like we both enjoyed the Merlin and Amir project. So, I mean,
Yeah,
we'll probably enjoy the next stuff that drops. So,
for sure. And then your last pick was Roy Blair. How you feel?
no music from Roy Blair for like 5 years now. He almost made the list again just to see if he would release.
Yeah.
But no, I mean the stuff he has out, it's great. Just obviously nothing since. So I've looked on Reddit, stuff like that. Just not a lot of action going on from Roy Blair right now. So
Yeah, I mean, he had some good songs, so that's tough to see. Okay, let's go through mine here. I had Kenny Mason. I'll give it a slight W. It's not like,
yeah,
oh, he blew up. He put out
mhm.
some good music. He didn't put out like a full album though, so I feel like that's coming soon. So, who knows? But yeah, Kenny Mason, slight W. My next one was Pink Pantheress, and which I'm gonna give that a W. She put out an
Yeah,
album that was very good. Boys a Liar Part 2 as well. So we got both Ice Spice and Pink Panthers, who just have one of the biggest songs of the year. So I think that's a W for us at the end of
Yeah,
the
for
day.
sure.
We did that. Eam Triplin, uh, another slight W maybe. He didn't really go
Yeah.
too crazy, but
I feel like he had
nothing crazy.
a lot of momentum coming off 2022 rolling, like the Rolling Loud, like that really could have
Yeah.
like catapulted his career. So I'd be pretty neutral. I mean, he didn't do anything bad, so it's neutral to slight W.
Yeah, I mean, he put out a good project, but he really didn't like blow up off of it. So
Yeah.
he had some songs I really liked, but yeah, I think as far as blowing up, I don't know. Junie is my next one. I'm gonna give that an L. He put out, I mean, it was called Shit'ems. What can you expect at the end of the day with that? No offense, love to him, love to his music, but uh, as far as the public loving that, I don't know. I think he put out a second album as well. It was a little bit shorter, if I remember. I forget the name of it. I'm pulling up right now, and it was called Memento, which was better than Shit'ems, but still not enough to blow him up like I thought it was. Although we did get Paper Soldier with him and Brent on streaming services, which I love. So, maybe that'll help blow him up a little bit more. And then my last one was Tom the Mailman, who, cool, but yeah, I think that's neutral or an L.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I don't. Did he release anything this past year? Maybe like an EP.
Yes, he released like a shorter EP, a couple songs, but that's it. There wasn't really getting a lot of buzz. So yeah, neutral, I think. Probably
Yeah,
stayed about where he was. He didn't get bigger or get smaller. So yeah, I'll stick with that.
yeah. I mean, and all these artists, they still got 2024, even though they're not going to make repeats on the list, unfortunately. But I mean, they're obviously going in the right direction, getting mentioned by us. So
Man, I will say we haven't talked about our list, and I'm gonna have a repeat for the third consecutive year. Let's kick it off. I have Kenny Mason. I mean, I am
oh,
tripling down on Kenny Mason.
you
Like,
you have ever you're end of the night at the casino. Your last $200 in your
yes,
pocket. You are all in.
I am all in on Kenny Mason. This will be the year that he takes a leap. He's done it every year, I feel like to some extent, a little bit different each year, but I feel like this is the year where he does it individually. In the past, he had Dance Now and stuff with JID, which that was great for him. He had some good solo projects that, started to build a little bit. But this is the year I think we see Kenny Mason really, really take that step. Crazy of me to go 3 years in a row. I really was like, am I going to do this? But then there was nobody that I felt as passionate about as Kenny Mason. So I had to triple down on Kenny Mason as crazy as it is. I feel like if you've been listening to the pod for a minute, you know how we feel about Kenny Mason. He does it all. He's so versatile, plays with a lot of different sounds, and I think he's very, very special as an artist. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a matter of time.
And I mean, to for the previous 2 years, he hasn't had a bad year. So it's not like
No.
it's just really taking that step. Like, and I feel like you said, he took steps forward a little bit. I mean, they weren't massive ones. So shit. I mean, this may be the massive year. Tripling down on it. So I like
It,
that. I love it.
it might be. I don't think I could ever quadruple down. So this is the last year
Never
we're
say
gonna get
never.
Kenny Mason. I know we'll never say never, but yeah, I think this is likely the last year I put Kenny Mason on this list.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Kenny Mason is not on the 2025 five artists
Yeah,
or five 3 to
let's hope
5
he's
artists that we
not.
think. Yeah,
Let's
we'll
hope
see.
he's
I
not.
guess this will just be the year he blows up. We'll manifest it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
For my first pick here, I'm like, and this is gonna be showing some love to the Latin community. All my
Ooh.
primos, tios. We got that Mexican OT. I'm like on that Mexican OT TikTok right now. I can't get off like Johnny Dang's like every other fucking TikTok. So I mean, obviously he has that going for him. I get a shout out to the big cousin Ephraim. He went out to a concert this past year, so 2023. He threw his jersey up there, got it signed. So I mean, he really needed. He told me he needed a mention then, and here it is. And it isn't just because my cousin told me to. My other cousin, Jonathan, did not
See,
tell me
yeah,
to.
this is rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. A different cousin
Um.
putting you on. I can't
Yep.
stand for that.
But I mean, not just because of that. I mean, it is something that I believe in. I see like quite a few people talk about him, and I mean, obviously, um, I see a lot of our friends, or not a lot of our friends, but a lot of the Latin friends we have, that friend group, they're fucking with that Mexican OT. So, I'll be playing at the poker games, he'd be playing. So it's kind of grown on me a little bit. So I think I'm expecting a big year from him.
I like that. I feel like, yeah, he's definitely one of those people that he has his audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he has that audience on lock. So I guess it's just a matter of expanding that audience this year. But yeah, he's definitely been somebody that I've heard a lot of noise about. I haven't really listened too much of his music, but what I have heard, very, very solid. So yeah, I might have to dive deeper into Mexican OT, but yeah, I like that
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah. Bring out your Hispanic side.
Exactly. I gotta dive in. With my next pick here, I have, you did it last year with any member of Brockhampton, so I'm gonna do it this year with any member of Concrete Boys. So, I think Yachty had his year last year, and he kind of is bringing people with him. Draft Day, Caribou, DC Two Trill, and Camo. They're right there with Yachty. Some of the biggest moments, that on the radar freestyle. They did that Christmas type cipher video, whatever that was, which they all have had very, very cool standout moments on their own. Draft Day had a song with Yachty that was one of my favorites of the year, one of the best produced tracks. It was called How Far Will I Go? I loved that track so much. It had the Yachty feature. I mean, it was great. Draft Day definitely did his thing though. And Caribou, I like Caribou. I don't know. I feel like she gets a little bit of hate sometimes on social media, but I'm a fan. I like her delivery. I like her style. I haven't listened to Camo or DC2 Trill too much. I'm out to give them a little more love, but yeah, I like what I've heard from the Concrete Boys.
Definitely W pick there. I like that. Speaking of, bringing people up with them, this, I don't know how many weeks consecutive, there may be like the Christmas episode in between Detroit. I don't know where your area code is, but whatever it is, stand up.
313,
We got,
right?
yeah,
313.
okay. 313, stand up. We got Babyface Ray. He's got his tracks with
Okay.
Ease. He's got his tracks with Babytron. Like any
Yeah.
Babyface Ray feature I hear, it hits. Like, haven't dove into too much of his solo stuff yet, but I'm all in all aboard. I'm a believer. And then I mean, with the Travis Scott, he's opening up for him. So I mean, that's a huge opportunity as well. You look back at some of these massive tours, in the past where the opener. I mean, look at him now. Name some that you've gone to. I haven't gone to too many concerts from back in the day yet, to where the opener could have blown up. But
Man, I mean, like a slight one in recent memory, you got Tizo opening up for Tyler. I mean, that's very cool. Tizo obviously has had a come up since then, since his feature on Call Me If You Get Lost. I mean, Travis used to open up for the weekend. I
yeah,
mean, look at that. Like, that's a crazy one. There's so many more. I'm sure we could go on and on. That would be a good episode in the future, but yeah, there's a
yeah.
lot.
But I mean, I think the demographic, I mean, fits, somewhat well. I mean, it's not a perfect fit, but I mean, I do think he could gain a lot of years from this. So big year from Babyface Ray, Detroit.
I like
We're
that.
here.
Got a lot of love for Detroit. We've been showing that the past few episodes. Um, yeah, V's almost made my list today. I mean, I love V's, one of my top albums of the year last year, but I ultimately did not go with him on my last pick. I'm gonna go with Jordan Ward. He had one of my top albums of the year last year, but he did have that album. So is he gonna drop a new album this year? You never know.
Mm-hmm.
People have different work paces, but I do think he's been taking steps consistently for years, and I think that the mainstream is finally starting to see that. I feel like you were talking about you're on the Mexican OT TikTok. I'm on Jordan Ward TikTok to some extent. Like I saw some girl and she was listening to uh IDC with Junie and a couple other tracks off of Forward, and she was like telling her followers, and only had like 800 likes or something. So the algorithm knows that I'm rocking with Jordan Ford,
Yeah.
and it's trying to feed me these posts. But I just hope it's feeding it to more and more people, and everybody gets on the Jordan Ward hype train because I've been on that for a minute, and I think this could be the year. I feel like if I would have said this last year, I've been a really, really good pick. But I feel like this year, he could be like bigger in the mainstream, capitalizing on what he did in 2023.
Okay, it's weird. We weirdly do this quite a bit. So my artist here released an album last year, but I mean, has that they're on a huge song that, or not a huge song, but I mean a huge album this year. We've got Mariah the Scientist. This is like a
Ooh,
yeah. This is so I can't remember who it was at this point. It's the Rai world one where she got the arrow going through. That album there. I can't remember who was bumping it or something. But I was like, caught my ear. Didn't listen to the album last year, but then she was featured on 21 Savage's album, which released this week. We'll get into that a little more in the releases. But I mean, to spoil that a bit, I give that the best track on the album. And that album's set to sell, 150, 160K this week. So I mean, that's good exposure there. It's a very introspective song from 21 Savage, and she compliments him perfectly in it. And then going back listening to her project from last year, I did that Saturday, I believe, when I was making my list up, and I'm a believer. Maybe she could do a little deluxe with it. Her schedule is every 2 years, so maybe
Okay.
just get some more exposure from this 21 Savage project, and maybe drop an EP or something this year. And yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things that go into somebody blowing up, and that was why with my Jordan Ward pick, I feel like the same thing could be said with Mariah, where they did have that project last year. They can sort of build on the hype. Maybe they'll be on some festival lineups this year, and then that's kind of where they get the public blow up. You know what I mean? I feel like the music's been there, and now it's just about people seeing the music. But I love
Yep.
that Mariah pick. I will agree that was my favorite track on the 21 Savage album. So good. She killed the feature. That really made the track. I mean, 21 had some very, very personal lyrics, very introspective, but Mariah, she killed that feature. So definitely a standout for me. So yeah, I love that pick. Obviously, I feel like there's so many more artists we could have gone into today. I have a couple more. Obviously, I'll get into in a second. But are there any here that you want to give a quick little shout out to, or are you anti honorable
Uh,
mentions like always?
Anti honorable mentions. I like this three to be a set three. We're sending them out hoodies and stuff in the mail. They're getting right about
Yeah,
this. So
yeah, okay. I feel that. I just want to, I want to put the people on in case they have it. I feel like some of the people we talked about, they're a little bit bigger, so we're gonna go a little bit smaller with these where these are like my penny stocks,
uh,
they could grow. We're putting into some nice, like we're investing in Nike stock, we're investing in Netflix stock, it's it's already fairly established, but it could blow a little bit, but to what extent? These people are a little bit smaller, but I think they could take off this year. I got three, so kind of doubling my list, taken away,
yeah.
but whatever you want to say. I'm just gonna go through them fast. First, I got Frex. I love Frex, man. She's crazy. R&B type, great voice, always on some just beautiful production. Postcards, fire. Hoodie back, fire. And she worked with Jordan Ward on track recently, so I think she's gonna drop an album this year. It's gonna be a big moment. I think a lot of people will be talking about Frex this year.
I don't have any honorable mentions, but there's like so many like R&B females out there that just have beautiful product. Like, I mean, to it would be to a different extent, like how Dominic Fike was a few years, but like 070 Shake could like she's set to
Oh,
release this like blow up into a massive star. Summer Walker's another one. These aren't honorable mentions. I'm just throwing names out there. So
yeah, okay, okay. You just conversating here. My
yeah.
next one, group therapy. I love group therapy. Their project last year was so good. I know it made a lot of people's end of the year list. Did not make mine, but I did love it. It has some great songs. Nasty, DYSBF. I mean, they're so fire. I think this could be a big year. I think all three members are individually talented. They could all do their own thing as well, but as group therapy, I think could be another very, very big year for them. And my last one, Tommy Richmond. I mean, those Brent Faiyaz ties, I think they're gonna,
It's
help him out a lot.
it helps a lot when you're attached to such a big artist, and for good reason. I mean, keep that attachment. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, this huge star sees something in you, so I mean, it's helps both sides there. So
Yeah. So those are my three. Those are if you came here looking for like three that are smaller that are gonna blow up a little bit more s- significantly, I think those are the three I would say. But the three I said are like they have a little bit of motion, but I think they could really take it to the mainstream this year. So yep, that was that was that. This is our third year doing artists we think we're gonna blow up in the year, scaled it back a little bit. I guess I went back to what it was.
yeah. Oh, did we
But
did
you scaled it back a little bit, I guess. But
yeah.
I just listen to a lot of people. The people I originally went with as my three are like some of the ones that I really, really have been a fan of for a minute. So it's like, I'm gonna rock with them. I guess Concrete Boys not as much, but Jordan and Kenny, like I've been a fan of them for years now. So had to bet on them one more time.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down to three. and you'll give that shine. But I think that's the beauty of it. That's why I don't really fuck. Or, personally for me, I don't bring in too many honorable mentions because I want all the attention on them. We're gonna mail them out. I don't know, McChicken or something. This is an
Oh,
exclusive thing.
okay.
Yeah, DoorDash them
Yeah.
McChicken for their award.
Yeah. I think I'm the opposite. I want to show everybody some love. I want to put the people on there taking the time to listen to us, give them something new. So hopefully you got something new out of my selections because I gave you a little bit more than Elijah did, but
Yeah.
we got some out of his too. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for our artists that we think are going to blow up in 2024. A little bit different than last year, but nonetheless, hopefully you guys found somebody new that you're going to bet on with us in 2024. But I'm very confident that one of our selections
Oh,
is going to
yeah.
take that step. So
Someone's taking the step. I think multiple. Let's shoot for like 65%. I think that's a good. I mean,
I
that's
would
what
love
we were
that.
about. Yeah, I think that's what we were about. I mean, just off the top of my head, we were about at there. If you kind of like scale back some of the ones where we're like they didn't really do, they're a little stagnant. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But let's get into some of the news from this week. We've been skipping over the news a little bit. It's been kind of a quiet start to the year. This is the first week, though, that it felt like, all right, there's some stuff happening. The year is starting off right. We got projects from 21 Savage, Kid Cudi, Boldy James and Nicholas Craven, Kali Uchis, and Tizo Touchdown with a Deluxe. Let's talk about these. Some of the biggest names we got in a couple weeks now, obviously December gets very slow with some of the bigger names releasing for the most part. And so having 21 Savage, having Kid Cudi, who I know you have feelings about, but nonetheless
Yeah.
still a very, very established star, and still getting that underground love with Boldy James. I think this was a very solid week.
Yeah, no, this is a phenomenal start. Feels like the first real week. Yeah, last week didn't feel like a real first week, so it's the first real week of music, we'll say. Man, 21 Savage slid. That's about like everything you want from a 21 Savage project.
Yeah.
I left very very impressed. Obviously you have the bangers, and then more introspective songs there, like we had talked about earlier, like getting personal, and I feel like the quote it's pretty short rollout, I will say, but what they did do with it was pretty impressive. Bringing Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, like that's a huge thing there. And then
Yeah.
features Dirk slid. That's the favorite Dirk verse I've heard in a minute.
I
I
was
like the
gonna say
song.
that as well.
Okay, yeah. See, we're on the same mind frame there. But yeah, a really impressive project. This may get my first. We may be talking about this in December. Just to throw it out
Very
there. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, it's early, but if it gets there, it gets there. I love it. Dirk, I will say, yeah, I don't always feel like I'm the biggest Dirk fan. Like he's just not my style. Like I feel like he does what he does well, but it's just not what I go to typically. But I was listening to this album and I was like, okay, Dirk, he
Yeah,
did his thing for
gave a
sure.
little mean face.
Yeah, yeah, he did his thing. Obviously, we talked about Dark Days with Mariah the Scientist. I mean, that was a great track, probably my favorite. Should have worn a bonnet with Brent Faiyaz. I mean, that was fire. And then All of Me, the song that was in the movie trailer. We got to talk about that. Obviously, you talked a little bit about it. You got that Donald Glover, Caleb McLaughlin movie trailer. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, is this a real thing or is it not a real thing? I'm leaning definitely not. It was just part of the rollout,
No,
but
I
like,
think it's like
it
the
would
like
be
the.
so fire.
I think it's like the Vogue covers. Like the 21 Savage and Drake did.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good comparison. Yeah,
Uh,
I feel like everybody I see on social media, they're like, "Yep, it's coming out
uh,
July
I
4th." Like
delusional.
outlets were picking that up. Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think so. I think it felt like an episode of Atlanta. That's what I saw some people saying. Seeing Donald Glover play 21 Savage, it was like I love them both, but I could not take it seriously.
the
Like
villain
I'm
21.
just so
Yeah.
Villain 21 was fire, but I was just so distracted by Donald. Like just seeing him as 21 was distracting. But Kill McLaughlin as the young 21, I like that. That was a pretty good one. But yeah, I think it's just 'cause I'm such a big fan of Donald that
Yeah.
I just see him. I can't see 21 Savage.
Um, so I've obviously, I listen to it on Apple Music. I obviously have only viewed the track list completely from Drake's Instagram story. Who was featured on Nina, Dangerous, Pop Your Shit? Do you know the third feature there? Not Thug, not Dirk, not Travis Scott.
Oh,
You know,
I think it was Metro. He was in
oh,
the.
okay,
It was
okay,
it was
okay,
it was that guy that was in the movie trailer. I think it's Metro Boomin. He's up and
okay.
coming, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know because it was crossed off. This beef is, I
we
don't know.
wouldn't know.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. I don't even want to consider this beef. Like I don't know at this point. It just seems petty. It seems funny. So yeah,
it does. I don't get it. I hope it's not real, but
that is like
I
that's
thought it was
different.
dead until that.
Yes, yeah, it seemed because 21 or Metro Boomin came out and said it's not real beef, whatever. Said it on Twitter, and now we got Drake crossing out his name. That's like a picture of like in middle school, high school. High school is even a little late for that. Middle school, where you got a group photo at farewell or something, and you and your girlfriend didn't work out or something. Then the next month, your boy crosses them off or something. Something like that. Like
Clown emoji. Yeah,
yeah,
that's different. Yeah, it is weird. It's bizarre. It feels like such a slight thing, and so it's like the thought that he had to sit there and think to
do
put
it.
emojis
And
over his name, and he knew exactly where he's putting them. I don't know. It was weird. So we'll see if anything comes of that. Let's talk about some of these other albums, though. Kid Cudi, I know you're not gonna want to talk about him too much. You have your feelings, like I said earlier, but I haven't listened to it either. I've heard very, very mixed reviews. Good track list, though. If you look at the features, you get Travis, you get Rocky, you get Yachty, you get X, Thug. Pretty solid feature list there. Obviously, you got Pharrell and Travis on that one song that was a single. I'm gonna give it a listen. So next week, I'll come back with my thoughts on
the,
that.
I'll just talk on the fans, very sparingly. I mean, if you're new to this, me and Kid Cudi have had beef for a couple years now. Him and Ye, they made up. We have not. We will not. But I mean, to his fan, you've seen mixed reviews. I feel like the Cudi stands they're up there. It's like Cardi level almost. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a step down. But man, they like people call this guy like a legend to go, and he hasn't done much outside of Man on the Moon.
I don't know. I feel like he's always consistently had good songs, but as far as albums, like he definitely had his really good ones earlier. So yeah, I he's still warranted like a full album listen just
Mhm.
because of who he is and his track record and all that. But
You'll have
I'll
to
get
let me know
around to
thoughts.
it.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know thoughts.
I'll give you my thoughts. The other one I did listen to this week though, we got Boldy James and Nicholas Craven, Penalty of Leadership. This was a fire album. I mean, Boldy to me is like one of the most consistent. Again, some Detroit love, but he's so good. And
And
Nicholas Craven has killed the production. Since Fair Exchange, No Robbery, those two have been a great duo. So yeah, I had pretty high expectations going into this, and they definitely delivered.
yeah, that's one I need to give a listen to. You said I'm not made into the Griselda family until I get on the Boldy James trade. So that's one I did need to listen to. So
Yeah, I feel like I'm not even like a diehard Griselda. Like there are some people that I still need to get more into, and Griselda, there's so many like layers to it. Like Griselda, I feel like the group would be Conway, Benny, and West Side Gun,
then the
but then the
label,
label,
yeah,
you got Armani Caesar, you got Rome Streets, you got Stove God, you got Boldy. So it's a bigger. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a
yeah.
whole thing. That Griselda universe is different. So yeah, this is the year for you. But yeah, this is a great one to get into. Um, yeah, let's talk about some of these singles though. We got little TJ, Ariana Grande with a comeback single, Benny the Butcher, Pusha T, Conway the Machine, Eam Triplin, Kenny Mason in Paris, Texas. Very, very strong week again with singles to complement those albums we got. Have you had a chance to listen to any of these and what have you thought?
Uh, Benny the Butcher and Ariana Grande. That one, it made it in. I don't think anybody would put those two together for who I would have listened to, but Being the Butcher showing my king love. I had to listen. The Instagram post by Braun that was cool, cold as fuck. Like
Fire.
yeah, that was so hard. So the music video for that, it's tough, obviously. I mean, Benny did his thing. Album dropping soon though. So and then Ariana Grande, she's one that's like very interesting. I feel like I almost associate her with like that. She's a level under it. Before I say, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Adele, that type of level of
I don't
artist. Like
know if she is. I think she's at that
she's like,
level.
yeah. I don't. It's really hard to. I mean, I guess gauge, but she did have a good single. I mean, I guess we'll find out this year. I mean, she sounds like she has an upcoming album. So I mean, we'll see off sales numbers. I mean, that was more just speaking sales wise. So
Gotcha.
we'll see where she ends up.
Yeah. I haven't given that one a listen again. I've heard good things about that. I feel that she got some diehard fans, so they're going to be rocking with whatever she drops. I'll give it a listen. But going back to Benny the Butcher Braun, I loved LeBron posting it on Instagram and
The
then putting the
comment
line
on
about saying, I moved my family and my bricks to a place where it's warm. Just seeing LeBron say that on his Instagram, I'm like, oh, that's fire. Like,
it's hard. What was Benny the Butcher's comment in there? Let me go find that. Song inspired by greatness with the king emoji. LeBron's always dropping. I love
love.
that. Yeah,
That's hard. Yeah, I gotta give a listen to some of these singles. The only other one I've heard is Kenny Mason in Paris, Texas, Big Bank, off the new See You Next Year. Pigeons are playing Big Ass Kids album coming soon. You heard it here first. Great single to start off this rollout. And there's some more coming that you guys are gonna like. So stay tuned. Near and dear to my heart.
yeah. There we go. I mean, you got the plugs in there.
Yeah,
So
of course.
I need to send that link.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about all
Yeah.
that, but you'll have it soon enough, hopefully. But yeah, very, very good week. And then we got some news about a project that's coming soon that seems like it's going to continue the momentum we've been having this year. And that's a Lyrical Lemonade album. Very, very strong track list. You got features from Eminem, JID, Lil Yachty, Joey Badass, Juice World, Chief Keef, and more. Looking very promising here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Avengers lineup. They're teaming up to go against Thanos here. These things are just always so deep. I mean, they kill them. So it's good to bring like this many great artists together. And I mean, I'm excited to see what we get. It may not be something I'm going to bump all year. Top 10 album of the year, but it is enjoyable. So
Yeah, the album's called All Is Yellow, and it's coming on the 26th, so not too much longer to wait. I will say, like you said, might not be bumping all year, but I think it's one that there will be tracks you're gonna be bumping all year. I think it's gonna be one of the best first listens. I'll go off to say that now because it's gonna be so unique. You're gonna hear so many different people. There's gonna be something I love about it. With every track, I would say the one of the ones I'm sneakily most excited for is With the Fish featuring Snot and Six Dogs. Getting that Six
that's
Dogs
fire.
posthumous feature, oh, I was so happy. I had a smile on my face when I saw that. So that's gonna be the one I'm looking forward to the
That's a good
most.
pairing too. I like that. I don't listen to
Hmm.
Snot too much, but that's a good pairing. I'm interested
Uh,
in that one.
I can see it working out. And yeah, the one we just got with Gus Dapperton, Lil Yachty, and Joey Badass, that was fire. Gus Dapperton almost made my artist to look out for this year. That was in like the Roy Blair vein that you picked last year. Like
Yeah.
he's been around for so long. It feels like I've been listening to him since like 2018, 2017, probably. That like indie era that was starting to blow up with like Rex Orange County, Boy Pablo. Gus Dapperton was in that for me. And I feel like he hasn't really, really taken off. But hey, I think this is showing his versatility. He can not only make great music on his own, but he can work with rap. He can work with Yachty and Joey Badass, although they were kind of being a little more melodic on it. But it was a great track as well. So give that one a listen if you haven't. With a great video. Cole's gonna do his thing always. So yeah, a lot of good music coming out this week and a lot more to look forward to in the future. Something else to look forward to next week. Ox battles. They're coming back, guys. Be ready. I know you guys are looking forward to that. It's been a minute, but we're also celebrating our 2 year anniversary next week. So we'll be back with a very special episode for you guys to celebrate our 2 year anniversary with the Ox Battle. It's going to be great. Let us know if you have any categories and have a great week. We'll see you guys next Monday. Peace.